Jake has $10,000 sitting in his savings account right now. He put it there 2 years ago. He hasn't touched it, hasn't spent it. Every time he checks his balance, the number is a little higher than the last time. Last month, it earned $4.12 in interest. He felt good about that, responsible, like he was doing the right thing, like he was one of the rare people who actually saved instead.
Marcus took the same $10,000 and moved it somewhere else. Not the stock market, not crypto, not anything that keeps him up at night. Just somewhere that wasn't a standard savings account. He set it up on a Sunday afternoon and didn't think about it much after that. 2 years later, Jake has more dollars than he started with. Marcus has more money. Those are not the same thing, and the gap between them is a number most people never bother to calculate, because the bank is counting on you not to. Here's what Jake's savings account actually looks like. The average traditional savings account in the United States pays somewhere between 0.01% and 0.5% annual interest. Let's be generous and call it 0.5%. On $10,000, that's $50 a year. Year 1, he has $10,050. Year 2, $10,100. Year 3, $10,151. The number is going up every single month. Jake logs in, sees the balance climb, and feels like he's winning. At least that's what it looks like on the surface.
But here's what the bank statement doesn't show you. Right next to that balance, there's no column for what your money can actually buy. There's no line that says purchasing power. There's no footnote that says, here's what this is really worth. And that number, the one the bank doesn't show you, is moving in the opposite direction. This is inflation. And inflation doesn't care how responsible you are. Inflation is the rate at which the prices of things you actually buy every year go up. Groceries, rent, gas, healthcare, utilities. The cost of living doesn't stay still, and it never has. Over the last several decades, the average annual inflation rate in the United States has hovered around 3 to 4%. In 2021, it hit 7%. In 2022, it peaked above 9%. But let's use the long-term conservative number. Let's say 3%, because even at 3%, the math is damaging enough.
Here is the calculation that changes everything. Your real return on any place you put your money is not the interest rate your bank advertises. Your real return is that interest rate minus the rate of inflation. If your savings account pays 0.5% and inflation is running at 3%, your real return is negative 2.5%. You are not earning money. You are losing purchasing power at a rate of 2.5% per year, silently, automatically, with zero notifications from your bank and zero entries on your statement that acknowledge it's happening. Let's put that in actual dollars, because percentages are easy to dismiss and dollars are not.
Jake parks $10,000 in a savings account. After 1 year at 0.5% interest, he has $10,050 in nominal dollars, the number on the screen, the number that feels good. But if inflation ran at 3% that year, the purchasing power of that $10,050 expressed in today's terms is closer to $9,748. He has more dollars, he can buy less. That is not a savings account working. That is a savings account failing quietly while looking like it's succeeding. Year 3, Jake's account shows $10,151. In real purchasing power, adjusted for 3% annual inflation, he's sitting at roughly $9,286. He has lost over $700 in real wealth on money he never touched, never spent, and never put at risk. Year 5, account balance, $10,253. Real purchasing power, approximately $8,838. A loss of over $1,100 in real terms for money that has been sitting still the entire time.
That is what the number proves. Jake's savings account is not a safe place for his money. It is a slow leak dressed up as a deposit slip. The balance climbs, the wealth erodes, and the bank sends him a year-end summary that shows only the climb. Now, let's talk about Marcus. Marcus took the same $10,000 and moved it into a high-yield savings account. These are offered by online banks and financial institutions, FDIC insured, exactly like a traditional savings account, with the same federal protections and the same deposit limits. The money is just as safe, just as accessible, available the same day if Marcus needs it. But the interest rate is a completely different conversation. In recent years, high-yield savings accounts have offered between 4% and 5.5% annual interest. Let's use a conservative 4.5%.
On $10,000, that is $450 in year 1. Not $50, $450, 9 times more than Jake earned, from money that is protected by the same government guarantee sitting in the same category of account accessible in the same amount of time. Year 1, Marcus has $10,450. Jake has $10,050. Year 3, Marcus has $11,412. Jake has $10,151. Year 5, Marcus has $12,462. Jake has $10,253. At 4.5%, Marcus is running ahead of a 3% inflation rate. His real return is positive 1.5%. He is not losing purchasing power. He is slowly, quietly gaining it with zero risk, full liquidity, and the same peace of mind Jake thinks he has but doesn't. But high-yield savings accounts are just the entry point, because Marcus didn't stop there.
For money he knew he wouldn't need for at least a year, Marcus looked at Treasury bills. T-bills are short-term government securities backed by the United States government, which makes them as close to a risk-free investment as anything in the financial system. You buy them, hold them for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, collect a fixed interest rate, and walk away. In recent periods, 3-month T-bills have offered yields around 5% or higher, beating most high-yield savings accounts, and the interest income is exempt from state and local taxes. That's an additional advantage most people never factor in, and most banks never mention.
For the portion of his money Marcus knew he wouldn't need for 5 years or more, he put it in a total market index fund. Not because he's chasing returns or trying to get rich quickly, because over any 10-year rolling period in the recorded history of the U.S. stock market, the average annual return has been approximately 10% before inflation. Subtract 3% inflation and you're looking at a real return of roughly 7%. That's not speculation. That's what the data says when you zoom out far enough to let compounding do its job. Let's run the full 10-year scoreboard. Jake keeps his $10,000 in a traditional savings account at 0.5% interest for 10 years. Nominal balance after 10 years, approximately $10,581. Real purchasing power at 3% annual inflation, approximately $7,812. Jake has lost nearly $2,200 in actual wealth, on money he never touched, on money he was proud of saving. Marcus splits his approach, $5,000 in a high-yield savings account at a conservative 4% and $5,000 in a total market index fund averaging 10% annual return. High-yield savings after 10 years, approximately $7,401. Index fund after 10 years, approximately $12,969. Combined, approximately $20,370. Same starting point, same $10,000, same 10 years. Jake has $10,511 in dollars that can purchase $7,812 worth of goods. Marcus has $20,370 in dollars that have significantly outpaced inflation and compounded into something real. The gap in nominal dollars is $9,859. The gap in actual purchasing power is closer to $12,558. That is what a standard savings account costs you over a decade. Not in fees that show up on a statement, not in penalties or charges you can see coming in, just in what you silently gave up by storing your money somewhere that was designed for convenience, not for the job you were asking it to do.
Before you close this video and move everything out of your savings account, there is one situation where it is exactly the right tool. Your emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses should live somewhere liquid, stable, and available the same day you need it. If you lose your job, face an unexpected medical bill, or have a major expense come out of nowhere, you need that money. Without penalty, without selling anything, without waiting for a market to recover first. A savings account handles that job well. A high-yield one handles it better. The mistake is not having a savings account. The mistake is treating it as a long-term home for money that isn't your emergency fund. It was built to hold money you might need fast. The moment you start using it to store money you won't need for years, you are paying an invisible fee every single month for the comfort of watching a number go up that is quietly, in real terms, going down.
There is a question most people never ask their bank. What is my real return after inflation? The bank will give you the interest rate without hesitation. They will not do the subtraction. They will not mention inflation. They will not put a purchasing power column on your statement. That is not an oversight. A standard savings account is among the most profitable products a bank sells. You deposit money, they lend it out at 6, 8, 10% or more. They pay you back 0.5% and call it a benefit. The math works perfectly, just not for you. Jake's balance is higher than it was 2 years ago. He can see it. It feels good. It feels like progress. Marcus's real wealth is higher than it was 2 years ago. He can calculate it. It grows whether he thinks about it or not.
The number on your bank statement tells you how many dollars you have. It does not tell you what those dollars can actually buy. And in a world where everything costs more every year, the only number that truly matters is the one your bank never puts on the screen. So here's the question. How much money do you have sitting in a traditional savings account right now that isn't your emergency fund? Because whatever that number is, it has a real return attached to it that nobody calculated for you. And it is almost certainly negative. Your bank knows that. They're just not going to be the ones to tell you. If this video showed you something your bank statement didn't, subscribe to Wealth Logic and hit the notification bell. We break down the hidden math behind the financial